So we talked about how to create a custom audience using emails. We talked about how to create a custom audience using website URLs, and we talked about how to create a custom audience using events from your pixel. But another incredible way to actually target and retarget your audience who engages with you, on the internet itself is actually using people's engagement on Facebook. And so when we go to create audience and custom audience, we see that we can do customer file, right, where we did emails, website traffic, where we did the URLs and the events from the pixel. App activity, we're not going to talk about. Offline activity, we're going to talk about in a later module. It's a little bit more complicated, using custom timestamps and using actual offline activity before you had Facebook pixels on your site. So we'll talk about that in one of the later modules. It's a bit more advanced, but we are going to talk about the engagement custom audience right here, right? So I'd say like 70%, 60 to 60% of custom audiences come from website traffic, with the other 20% or so coming from customer files in the form of email lists, and then the other final 20% in engagement. And so engagement has a lot of very, very exciting stuff that we can do, right? We can create engagement audiences from people who engage with our videos, right? If somebody watches 50% of our video or 3 seconds of our video or 10 seconds of our video, we can do that right here. Lead forms we talked about, right? Lead forms, if we wanted to say, hey, like we have 1,000 50% off coupons for this brand new product that we're selling on our store, or we have 1,000 cheat sheets that you can download. People can input their name, email address, and we can also ask for their phone number or make the phone number mandatory as well if we wanted to follow up via phone. People who engage with our lead form and open it, we can actually create custom audiences of them, right? Which just kind of gives you a really kind of engaged audience if you do target people that way. Full screen experience we don't use very often. Canvas ads, I've just never seen results that warrant kind of going through the extra effort to create them. Facebook page is the one we're going to talk about right here. And also Instagram. And then events, right? If you have like a grand opening for a local business, maybe like a bar or club or something like that, you can actually retarget people and form a custom audience of people who have interacted with the event that you set up on Facebook. And so, the most common ones are definitely video and Facebook page. But some of the ones that I also use from time to time are lead form, event, and business profile. For this specific video, we are going to focus on Facebook page as it's one that is very commonly used. And then in a future video, we're going to show you exactly how to set up video, because video is very important as well. It's actually quite simple. All you do is select a specific video that you've run as an ad, right? And then you just choose what percentage watched or number of seconds watched that you want to create a custom audience from, which really just shows the engagement of the user, right? If somebody watches 50% of your video, they're obviously more interested than somebody who watches 1% of your video. And so video views is a very cheap way, which we're going to show you as a little hack in one of the future modules of putting your ad in front of a ton of eyes for very, 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 very cheap, and then creating very targeted custom audiences of people who've engaged with 50% or more of your video. We're going to show you exactly how to do that in a future module, but for this specific video, we are going to focus on creating a custom audience of people who engage with your Facebook page. Right, so what we can do here is we can actually do a number of things. We can create a custom audience of everyone who's engaged with our page. We can create a custom audience of anyone who's visited our page, right? Engaged means that they actually engaged in some way, like they liked it, they commented, shared, engaged in some way. Anyone who's actually visited our page, right? We can pixel a website, but Facebook automatically pixels our pages. So anybody who actually visits our page, Facebook will actually know that. And then you can be able to create a custom audience of people who visited your page. People who've engaged with any post or ad, people who clicked on any call to action button, people who sent a message to your page, people who saved your page or any post, right? And so, definitely the ones that I like to use the most, right? And it depends, right? Because pretty much what drives what to create a custom audience from is the amount of data you have. So if you have a ton of traffic, then you can really just like take your pick. And if you have just basically a ton of traffic or infinite traffic, then what you want to do is create a custom audience of people who perform the action that signifies they're most interested. So if I had, 1 million people who visited my page, 1 million people who engaged, 1 million of all of these, then I would want to choose the one that is actually sent a message to our page, right? Because that means that if somebody actually goes through the trouble of going to your page, sending a message, right? Then they're probably more interested than somebody who's just visited your page. Maybe they accidentally clicked it or something, right? But most of us don't have unlimited traffic. And so what we have to do is create custom audiences of people, with the most data that we can provide. And so in that case, we would choose anyone who's visited our page, because if someone's visited our page, then they've obviously inherently, they to click a call to action or to send a message, they have to have visited your page. So this is obviously going to be our largest audience. And so what we can do here is we can just do anyone who visits our page, or if we want to, create the largest one here, we can just do anyone who's engaged with our page, because it just includes all of these. And so the largest audience would be everyone who's engaged with your page in some way, right? Includes everyone who's visited your page or engaged with your page's content or ads on Facebook or Messenger. So this is our largest audience here. And we can do that in the past 365 days. This creates, everyone who's visited our page, right? And we create this custom audience right here. Right? And then the last thing that I want to talk about for this specific one is going to be creating a custom audience of people who have engaged with our Instagram business profile, right? And so we can choose our Instagram business profile, and then we do the same thing. Anyone who's engaged with our Instagram business profile. And then what I like to do is I'll run Facebook ads, on Facebook saying, hey, like I saw that you came to our Instagram profile, like thank you so much for the interest, like we'd like to give you, a 20% off coupon, or like here's another awesome video that you might be interested in, right? Just to keep people interested, to keep people on our ecosystem, or if we wanted to drive them to another place, right? If they saw my Instagram, they probably followed it. Maybe we want to show them my YouTube, or maybe we want to show them, my Messenger bots, my ManyChat. Maybe we want to show them, one of my webinars, right? So we always like to continue people into our ecosystem, keeping them kind of in, our purview, looking and absorbing and kind of taking in all of our content, because it keeps them interested, and then it's much easier to actually make the sale or add value to them in some way. And so we definitely like to create custom audiences of people who've engaged with our page. The most kind of accurate one, if you have a ton of data, would be sending message to our Facebook page, but many of us don't have unlimited data, so we just like to create a custom audience of everyone who visits our page. And these things do dynamically update, guys. So if you create it right now and somebody visits your page tomorrow, they will automatically be added that custom audience, and then you can continue to show ads to everyone who engages with your Facebook page in the future. So it's a really beautiful kind of it's a really beautiful process, and Facebook has set this up in a really, really amazing way. And so that is custom audience creation and engagement for your Facebook and your Instagram page. We talked about all the different ways you can target people, how they engage with your Facebook page, whether or not they visited your Instagram page, and then you can retarget them on Facebook saying, hey, you came and visited my Instagram page, check out this other awesome thing. So those are a couple hacks that I like to use when I do go to create engagement custom audiences for my Facebook page and Instagram profile, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and let's get to the next.